Hello students, myself Shamal Davange from KKR College of Pharmacy and Department of Pharmacognosy. Today we will see the isolation of caffeine and detection of caffeine. Okay, so the aim for the practical is to perform isolation and detection of caffeine from tea powder. So the requirements for the practical are: we require a beaker, separating funnel, simple funnel and a glass rod. And the chemical requirements are lead acetate, dilute sulfuric acid, chloroform, and distilled water is also required. And the drug we are using is tea powder. So from tea powder we will isolate caffeine. So what is caffeine? So the biological source of caffeine, it is a methylated xanthine alkaloid, the derivative found in coffee bean, that is Coffea arabica, which is belonging to the family Rubiaceae. Then Thea sinensis, which is belonging to the family Theaceae. Theobroma coca, which is belonging to the family Sterculiaceae. So this is the biological source. So it is mainly collected from the three different types of species. So here we are using Thea sinensis, that is our tea powder. Okay. So this is the structure of caffeine. Uses. So it is used as a beverage. It is a CNS stimulant, strong diuretic. It is also a mood elevator. It is antitussive, vasodilator, involuntary muscle relaxant, and it is also used in some inflammatory conditions. Now we will see the procedure for the isolation of caffeine. So first we have to weigh the tea leaves and transfer those to the distilled water, and we have to boil that for near about 30 minutes. Okay, so the leaves are taken and into a beaker, distilled water is added to the same, and it is kept over the tripod stand, okay, which is containing a wire gauze over it and a burner below it, and it is allowed to boil for 30 minutes. Then it is filtered, okay, and after filtration to the filtrate, lead acetate is added, okay, and a white precipitate is obtained, okay. So that white precipitate indicates the tannins in that, okay, and again it is filtered. Then after filtration to the filtrate, sulfuric acid is added, and again a white precipitate is obtained. While while this process takes place, it is that it removes the excess of lead acetate from the solution, okay, and after that again it is filtered, okay. Then after filtration to the particular liquid or to the particular filtrate, charcoal is added, okay, while heating over a burner. Then after adding charcoal, so that it removes the coloring matter, charcoal absorbs the coloring matter which are present in the extract, and it is again filtered. After filtration, that filtrate is taken into a separating funnel when it is cooled, okay. Then after that, to that separating funnel, three portions of chloroform is added, that is 20, 20 and 20 ml of chloroform is added thrice, and it is mixed properly, and it is allowed to separate the layer, that is aqueous layer and the chloroform layer, okay. Then the chloroform layer which is separated, it is collected, okay. Then three of the chloroform layers get separated as we are using chloroform in the three portions, okay. So three layers are combined together and it is allowed to evaporate. So evaporate to precipitate white crystals. Okay, it is evaporated till the white crystals are obtained, and it is again recrystallized with alcohol, and at the end pure crystals of caffeine are collected. Now we will see the procedure part of this. Now we will perform the practical extraction of caffeine from tea leaves. For that the requirements are tea powder, chloroform, activated charcoal, lead acetate, distilled water, empty beaker, funnel, separating funnel, filter paper, okay, glass rod and spatula. Okay, so we have taken the tea powder 10 gram. Okay, we have weighed and will add water to it. Near about 150 ml of water is to be added. And we will keep this solution to the boiling. For near about half an hour and will stir occasionally. When it comes to boiling, okay, after half an hour we will remove this and will filter. Now we will wait for half an hour. Okay, now you can see the liquid is boiling, okay, and this is the time you have to filter this solution, okay, and stir so that it will not bump out. Okay, now we will stop boiling and will remove the beaker from the tripod stand. Now we will filter this, okay. So you can filter this solution by using the sieve or by using muslin cloth first. And then now after the sieve filtration we will filter this solution by using filter paper, okay, so that a clear liquid will be obtained. Okay, so the filtration has been completed. Okay. For filtration, number of filter papers are required. Okay. Now to this solution, as you can see, this is a clear solution. Okay, there is no turbidity in the solution. This kind of solution is required. To this solution, we will add lead acetate solution. Till the white precipitate is obtained. Very less quantity of lead acetate solution is required. Now you can see this solution has become turbid and which is containing a white precipitate, okay. And now we will filter this solution again. Okay, after filtration this clear liquid is obtained. Okay, so the tannins has been precipitated out in white color, and now to remove the excess of lead acetate we will add dilute H2SO4. Again a white precipitate will be obtained. Okay, very little amount of H2SO4 is to be added. Okay, so you can see the white precipitate is seen. Okay, a white precipitate is obtained. So that excess of lead acetate which we have added is removed by adding H2SO4, and we will filter this solution again. So I have placed here two filter assembly. As it requires time. After adding H2SO4 and after filtration, this type of liquid is obtained. Okay, now we will transfer this in the separating funnel. Okay, check that the knob of the separating funnel is closed. And in 3 portions we will add chloroform.
Oh.
10 ml of chloroform we will add in 3 portions to the separating funnel. First 10 ml. And we'll shake it properly. And will allow it to settle, and we have to collect the chloroform layer. Now you can see the layers are separated. Okay, this is the aqueous layer and this is the organic layer, and you have to collect the organic layer, okay, which is the chloroform layer. Now we will collect this in a petri dish, okay, which is pre-weighed. And will allow this to evaporate. Again we will add 10 ml of chloroform to the solution, okay, and again we will mix this properly and will collect the chloroform layer. So the same procedure with 10 ml is repeated, and we will allow this so that the chloroform layer will settle down, and again we will collect this chloroform layer in a petri dish. Okay, the layers are separated, and now we will collect this. So This is the chloroform layer, okay, which we have collected, and now we will allow this to evaporate at room temperature, and after evaporation the caffeine crystals will be obtained. So this is the caffeine crystals, okay, which are collected after evaporation. White color caffeine crystals are obtained. Okay, so now we will see the calculations. Okay, so for calculation, first weight of empty petty plate is taken. Okay, that is 29.57 and I have labeled this as W1. Second is weight of petty plate with sample. Okay, whichever the evaporated sample is there, that sample. W2 is equal to 29.83 gram, and the weight of the sample by subtracting W1 from W2, that is W2 minus W1, and the value is 0.26 gram of caffeine was isolated. Now we will see the percentage yield of the caffeine. So 10 gram of tea powder was taken. From that 0.26 gram of caffeine was collected. For 100 gram of tea powder, x gram of caffeine. So for x gram the cross multiplication is done, and for 100 gram near about 2.6% of caffeine is isolated. So for isolation of the extracted caffeine, okay, we need to do thin layer chromatography. So now we will see what is thin layer chromatography. So usually it is a chromatographic technique, okay, which is used for isolation and separation of the compounds. So chromatography is a laboratory technique for the separation of a mixture. The mixture is dissolved in a fluid called as a mobile phase, which carries it through a structure holding another material which is called as a stationary phase. The various constituents of the mixture travel at different speeds, causing them to separate. The separation is based on differential partitioning between the mobile and the stationary phases. So here in case of chromatography, two phases are very important, that is mobile and the stationary phase. Here the mobile phase used is a liquid and the stationary phase used is a solid. Okay, so thin layer chromatography is a chromatographic technique used to separate non-volatile mixtures. Thin layer chromatography is performed on the sheet of glass, plastic or aluminum foil, which is coated with a thin layer of absorbent material, usually silica gel, aluminum oxide or cellulose. Okay. So the principle behind this is adsorption. So depending upon the adsorption, the particles get separate or the components get separate between the mobile phase and the stationary phase. So the stationary phase it is, as I have already told, it is solid in nature. So mainly the glass plates are used, okay, so which are 20 by 20 centimeter plates or any size, it also including the microscopic slides which we are using in pharmacognosy lab. Then the preparation and the activation of the stationary phase. So the slurry of stationary phase is prepared in solvent and used for preparation of glass plate. So the slurry is prepared by using the silica gel G, which is for the TLC plate, that is for a thin layer chromatography, and which is dissolved with water, okay, having a good consistency, that is pourable consistency, and that slurry is used as a stationary phase. Then the plate is made by 4 different techniques, that is pouring, dipping, spraying or spreading. Okay, so we have used the pouring technique. Then the application of sample. So capillary is used for application of sample. 3 to 5 microliter is ideal sample volume for application. Capillary tubes or micropipettes are used. it should put randomize or equidistance, that is 2 centimeter, and it should be sufficiently high so it should not dip into the mobile phase. Near about from the bottom above 1 centimeter the spotting is done, so that the mobile phase will not so that the spots will not mix with the mobile phase and will not get dissolved. Okay, then the development tank, that is a chamber where the plate is to be developed. Different types of development tanks are available. When method is not developed, use of beakers is also preferred. New developing chambers have more advantages. Lining of a development tank with filter paper is necessary to reduce the age effect. For saturation purpose, the filter paper is also used so that the saturation gets proper into the development tank and the plate runs very properly and the results obtained are very accurate. Mobile phase selection depends upon the various factors. Okay, how the mobile phase is selected. Nature of substance to be separated. What kind of substance is to be separated? Then the nature of the stationary phase. Then mode of chromatography, normal phase or reverse phase. Then the separation required, analytical or preparative. Okay. Then the range of solvents can be useful as pet ether, water, pet ether to water. Also organic acid, mixture of acid and base are also used in case of mobile phase depending upon the polarity and the sample and the stationary phase. Then the development technique. One dimensional and two dimensional are the two techniques available. Here we are going to study only one dimensional for our caffeine. Detecting and visualizing agent. Non-specific methods, exact number of drug is known. Specific methods, exact nature is known. So detection or visualization is done by using different reagents or the samples or the chambers. In case of non-specific, iodine chamber is used, UV chamber for fluorescent compounds which are detected at 254 nanometer and 365 nanometer. And in case of specific methods, different reagents are used. Example is for alkaloids, the drag and drop reagent is used. Then qualitative analysis. RF value is calculated, that is the retention factor. So it is a ratio of distance traveled by the solute to the distance traveled by the solvent. Okay. So retention factor value always ranges from 0 to 1 and the ideal is from 0.3 to 0.8. Advantages of thin layer chromatography. It is simple and cost effective. Rapid compared to column chromatography. Separation in micrograms is possible. Any type of compound can be analyzed. Detection is easy and not tedious. Can be used as analytical or preparative. Corrosive or con acid can be useful. Needs less solvent, stationary phase, less time is required. Applications of thin layer chromatography. Separation of mixture of drugs of chemical or biological origin, plant extracts. Separation of carbohydrates, vitamins, antibiotics, proteins, alkaloids, glycosides are done. Then identification of a particular drug is also done. Identification of related compounds in drug. To detect presence of foreign substance in drugs. To detect the decomposition products in drugs. Then the requirements for the practical are, we require a glass slide, okay, that is a microscopic slide. then a glass rod, beaker, capillary. The chemicals required are silica gel G for the TLC, methanol, acetic acid, ethyl acetate. So for this practical, the sample preparation is done by 1 milligram of sample, that is the extracted caffeine, 1 milligram of sample in 1 ml of solvent, that is methanol or chloroform is used. Mainly the methanol is used. Then the stationary phase, silica gel G is used. Mobile phase used is ethyl acetate, methanol and acetic acid in the ratio 80, 10 and 10. And the chamber saturation is for 15 minutes. Now, today we will see how to prepare a TLC plate, okay, for thin layer chromatography. So, the requirement for the same are, we will require an empty beaker, okay, then beaker containing distilled water, then silica gel G, which is used for thin layer chromatography, okay. It is with the binder as it is specified over the container. Okay, for column chromatography the silica gel is completely different, and for thin layer chromatography the gel is different. So this is required. Then we will require some glass slides, that is TLC plate, a spatula, glass rod and a tissue paper. Okay, so firstly we have to clean and dry the glass slides, which I have already done. Okay, then we will place the slide over the tissue paper, and now we will see how to make a slurry. For slurry, we will take silica in a beaker, okay. And as per requirement the silica is to be taken. There is no proper measurement for the same. Only the water required is in the double quantity of that your silica gel, okay. So we have taken the silica, and now we will pour some water in it slowly, and will mix with the help of glass rod. Okay, so the slurry is prepared, okay, but it is little bit of thick, so we will pour 1 to 2 drops of water in it again, and the consistency of the silica gel should be pourable, okay. So it will flow over the plate very easily and will get adhere with the plate. So now you can see the slurry is made, which is of pourable consistency. To check, you can hold a drop at the side of the beaker and see if it has a flowing consistency. So it is having a flowing consistency, okay. Okay, now by pouring technique we will pour this silica over the plate, okay. So for this, slightly pour your silica gel over the plate and spread over the plate, okay. And place over the platform to get set that plate at the room temperature. Same way we will prepare the second plate. We'll allow it to dry at the room temperature. The silica gel over the plate should be sprayed very evenly, okay. And now we will wait for some time so that the plate will get dry at the room temperature, and then we will allow this plate to get activate in the oven. So for that we have to set oven at 110 degrees Celsius, and as the temperature gets set, then at that time we will put this plate into the oven and will activate those plate for 30 minutes at 110 degrees Celsius. So now you can see the oven has set to 110 degrees Celsius, okay. So now we will insert the plates in the oven, okay. Now we will insert these plates in the oven. And we'll leave for half an hour so that the plates will get activated properly and it will be ready for sampling and to perform thin layer chromatography of a particular sample. So now we will see the requirement for thin layer chromatography which we have to perform. Okay, so the requirements are, first of all we need a TLC plate which we have prepared previously, okay, and which was activated in oven at 110 degrees Celsius, okay. Then the solvent system which is required for mobile phase, that is ethyl acetate, methanol and acetic acid is there, okay. And the glasswares are, a beaker is needed, that is TLC chamber, okay, which is covered with aluminium foil and a petri plate, okay, so that no vapors will come out of it. Then a volumetric flask is required, which is 10 ml volumetric flask, okay. As we are going to prepare only 10 ml of mobile phase, so 10 ml of volumetric is required, and the pipettes are required, the number of solvents and then the number of pipettes, okay, because each solvent requires different pipette. And the sample which we are going to spot over the plate, okay, this is the sample I have already prepared, that is 1 gram of sample in 1 ml of solvent is there, okay, as I have told you in theory lectures. So 1 milligram of caffeine in 1 ml of alcohol, it is mixed alcohol or methanol you may use, okay. And these are the capillaries, and now we will first make the capillaries and then we will do spotting. Before that we will prepare a solvent system of 10 ml and we will allow that solvent system to saturate for near about 15 minutes, and at that time we will prepare the capillary and will spot over the TLC plate. Okay, now we will prepare the solvent system. So the solvent system for caffeine is ethyl acetate, methanol and acetic acid. So in the proportion 80, 10 and 10. So this the proportion is for 100 ml and here we require the proportion for 10 ml. So we will calculate and the proportion will be 8:1:1. So 8 ml of ethyl acetate is required, 1 ml of ethanol and 1 ml of glacial acetic acid. Okay, so firstly we will take 8 ml ethyl acetate, clean and dry pipette is to be taken and a rubber ball. The reason behind using different pipettes is to avoid the contamination of the chemicals, okay, and 1 ml of acetic acid. And now we will mix this mobile phase very properly, and for that purpose only we are using volumetric flask, okay, stoppered volumetric flask. Okay, now the mobile phase has been mixed, and we will disperse this mobile phase in a TLC chamber, and once the mobile phase is poured in the TLC chamber, the chamber should not be taken away from the platform, it should be stuck at one place only, okay. Immediately close the TLC chamber. And now the chamber will not be moved from one place, okay, as the chamber saturation is near about for 15 minutes. At that time the vapor of the solution will get over the surface, okay, into the beaker, and then we will place our plate into that. Okay, now we will prepare capillary, okay, for that burner is required, and you have to hold this capillary over the burner and just pull it, okay. This type of tip is to be formed. Okay. Okay, now the capillary has been prepared. Now we will do spotting. So over this TLC plate, and from bottom near about 1 centimeter distance is to be kept, okay, and then you have to do the spotting. Okay, and we will put 2 spots, okay, and little bit away from each other. Now we will keep this plate for running, okay. 15 minutes are over of saturation. Care must be taken that the beaker should not be disturbed. Again cover it with foil. And leave the beaker. Okay, the plate is running, okay, as you can see this, and up till 70% you have to run the plate, okay, and then after completing 70% we will remove the plate from the chamber, okay, and we will see the spots. Okay, now we will remove the plate, okay, carefully you have to remove. So you can see here, this is the solvent front, okay, and here we have done the spotting, and we will allow this plate to dry. Okay, the plate has been dry, okay, and the spots are not visible. So now for detection of the spot, we will place this plate into the chamber, that is iodine chamber, okay, and we'll leave for 5 minutes. So with the exposure to the iodine vapors, the spots will be visible. Okay, so now the plate has been removed, okay, from the iodine chamber, and this is the solvent front, okay. Here the sample was spot and the solvent has been run up till this. So this is the solvent front, and here the spots are visible, okay, you can see here the spots are visible. So we will mark this, okay, to calculate the retention factor. Okay, now we will see the calculation about the retention factor. So this is the practical for how the plate is run and how the retention factor is calculated. So the spots are spotted on a TLC plate. Over here, this is the TLC plate and the spotting is done. Then during development, the spots run with the mobile phase depending upon the affinity and the absorption, and the separation takes place. And after the plate is run 70 to 80%, the plate is removed from the tank, that is a development tank or the saturation chamber. So this is a spotting of a solute or the sample to be separated. Then this is the obtained sample, okay. This is the solvent front, and the distance from the spotting to the solvent front is known as A, and the distance from spotting to the sample identified is known as B. So the retention factor is equal to distance traveled by the solute, that is B, okay, this distance, divided by distance traveled by the solvent, that is the distance up till solvent front, this distance. And by using this formula, retention factor of a particular sample is calculated, and the sample over here is caffeine. Okay, so now we will see the calculation part of Tyndall chromatography. Okay, so the sample used was caffeine, 1 milligram of sample in 1 ml of solvent. Then the solvent system used ethyl acetate, methanol and acetic acid in the ratio 80-10-10. Okay, and this ratio is for 100 ml. Okay, and we have prepared mobile phase of 10 ml. So 8:1:1 we have taken, and the chamber was saturated for 15 minutes, and after that the plate was inserted, and after the plate was removed, it was placed in iodine chamber. okay, for detection of the spots. That is, detection was done by exposure to the iodine vapors. Okay. Now we will see about the calculation. So retention factor is calculated distance traveled by the solute divided by distance traveled by solvent. Okay. Here this diagram explains exactly what the distance is. Okay. So here the spotting was done over the plate, and up till this the plate was run. So this is your solvent front. So this is the distance from the spot till the solvent front is known as B. So this is distance traveled by solvent B, and A is distance traveled by the solute. So that the spot from here up till its capacity, it was run up till here. Okay. So this distance is A, and this distance is traveled by the solute. That is your sample. That is your caffeine. Okay. So the distance was measured, and the RF value calculated was 2.5 divided by 5.5, and that was 0.45. So the final RF value, that is retention factor of caffeine, was found to be 0.45. So the result obtained is isolation of caffeine was performed, and it was found to be 2.6%, and for detection purpose, TLC was done, and the retention factor of caffeine was found to be 0.45. Questions asked for Viva. So, what is chromatography? It is a separation technique having two phases, that is a mobile phase and the stationary phase, and it is depend upon the adsorption principle. What is thin layer chromatography? Then what is the mobile phase used for caffeine, and also give the formula for retention factor. Give application of thin layer chromatography. Give biological source of caffeine, from which sources the caffeine is to be isolated. Uses of caffeine. Procedure for caffeine extraction. And give the structure of caffeine. Thank you.